Alright, how is everyone doing? We're doing picture-in-picture again. Fingers. Um, Hopefully the tip of the pen cooperates tonight. Damn thing keeps trying to fall out. Of course, it's dark in here except for the media area where I'm working, so it disappears. I'm gonna have to replace it. It's a pain in the ass. Alright, rather than rely on whiteband audio for some music in the background. I figure I just make my own with some Suno. This is version 5, not sponsored, just a fan. Put in sad Celtic instrumental, Celtic folk of violin. Let's see what it's got. The Lament of the Heather. Turn it down a little bit. Very nice. Right about there. Again, I don't want to get drowned out like I did a couple of videos before last. And tonight, we're there, baby. Revenge the Forsaken. Um, oh, and I got an exact date on the Duel of the Kings. The year would have been 13, no, 20, 1200, let's say 80. Let's make it 85, just to call back to my birthday. Um, So at that same time period, the Humboldt crashed round about the birth of Christ on Earth. So it would be easier to follow the calendar. At that time, we were entering the still in the mid Iron Age, and it would have been getting close to like the First Crusades, I believe, in Europe. So we were nowhere near like the text level of technology. They straight up had muskets by the end of the war and cannons. So they're very late Renaissance, going into like the Enlightenment age. And I chose Celtic instrumental and folk because Cora is from the Commonwealth. And if you read Rage the Forsaken, you'll notice some linguistic clues to the accent the Trox have. They have kind of like a faux Irish or kind of Cockney accent. Like they'll say me instead of my. Uh, and they also have a certain particular cadence to how they speak. Uh, They also have the encroachment of new Panj, which is bad Panjian. Basically, it's a bastardization of proper Panjian. So they will slur or contractualize words. The first victim of that the text eventually just laid down and accepted was hand-to-hand combat being hackabat. Because most Trox are like, I'm not going to say hand-to-hand combat like every single fucking time. We're going to contractualize to hackabat. So it'd be HA apostrophe combat. So, could be also pronounced ha combat, but that doesn't roll off the tongue as well. Oh, we're in the new one. They sound very similar. Screw it, let's go with this one. Like I said, they sound very similar to each other. They even have the same name. Just want to make sure it's not too loud. There we go. Now, like I mentioned in previous videos, this was not a war of attrition with the Norks. Like the techs weren't like pillaging left and right. In fact, if Tech Army soldiers were caught pillaging, they would probably be executed in a drumhead trial by Lord Hykos or the Supreme Commander. This was not about money or power. This was about your ancestors made an agreement, and we're going to damn well hold you to it. Now, when I first drew this cover, I imagined like this was Korra and Vaughn like sort of wandering through the woods as the sun set between the trees. That's of course why the Eeps are out looking around corners. So, well, let's start with the panel here. This is an adult Korra, obviously holding a DW's head in the head bag. There we go. Fill-in tool is our friend. And of course, the rotting pan. Of course. There we go. Head bags are, of course, traditionally hunter green to hide the blood. Her sash here, because she is on a hunt, would be green. Now, I drew this before I figured out that the way I drew their sashes is physically impossible. But I'm not going to go back and like redraw this that I've been used for multiple. Oh, come on. That I've now used for multiple covers. So we're just going to have to learn to live with it. Yeah, so the new AC is working out pretty good. I actually slept for a very long time this weekend. For the first time in a long time. I think it was the fact that I just wasn't getting any sleep. And that's partially because the temperature would just vary so wildly throughout the day. And I work third shift at night, so it's also why I upload so late. To me, this is the middle of the afternoon. That's also why I kind of drifted away from streaming as well. Is one, my internet out here is not great, and two, no one ever seems to catch it while it's live because they're all asleep. So, like, why bother? Just upload it when I get done. People will catch it when they catch it. Alright. I want to keep that shadow. Now, a lot of people are still very, like, not understanding why Mr. Henshaw, Korra's biological father, decided to do this. Why not just sell the kid? Because that was technically legal at the time. And the short answer is no one would want to buy them. They're not old enough to get a good amount of work out of them. And that would be the predominant reason why you would buy them. Because Trox never had any problem having kids. Like, only like a tech family who's like suffered some sort of infertility issue would be looking to adopt a kid just to raise them as a kid. Or in the case of Carco and Veto, their lifestyle makes it from any direction just difficult to have a wife or maintain a family. But they could, with servants, very easily raise a child. They could also train this child to do what they do, which is be a ranger enforcer. And Gore himself was a war orphan for a relatively short time before Lord Heiko showed up to the orphanage and gave him a charitable title. Basically, a charitable title is where they go to the orphanage and basically like have a kid win the fucking lottery there. They're going to be given, they're going to be observed, and then one kid's going to be chosen. And they have a sit-down interview with the person who is thinking about granting them that title. It's the one time the erase button actually is worth a damn. And just to see, where the kid's head is and all that, and if everything goes right, you get adopted by that person, and you're given a title, and tech titles come with occupation, so congratulations, you just got a forever job. Now, usually, these are for like ranger enforcers or knights. Clean up that face a little bit. But predominantly it was for ranger enforcers. One, because they had a high turnover rate. And one of the things they don't tell you when they give you a charitable title is that more than likely that person died without having an heir, which is why you're getting that title. Gotta get that nose right. And a lot of people have noticed that I draw Troc faces a particular way. That's because they're all, at this point, kind of inbred, and they all kind of look the same. That is historically accurate. Until, like, the railroad system or the interstate system where people could move across, the Commonwealth quickly, you kind of stayed within your own little gene pool. And I've always had that she never had those distinctive yellow eyes in this. Yeah, looking right at you like, oh, you're next. Like that. Now, the way Mr. Hinshaw chose to abandon Cora and Vaughn is incredibly malicious because he could just play it off as a big accident. It's like, oh, I took the kids to gather some kindling, and I lost track of them while I was trying to find a tree to fell, and I searched for hours and hours, and got to be in the middle of the dark. I have no lantern or any type of light source with me. So I decided to go back home and try to regroup and come back in the morning when there's light and just hope that they survived. Now, if they did survive, or at least one of them survived, he could just be like, oh, how fortunate, and just sort of awkwardly take the kid back. Which Cora probably would not have wanted going back with him. It's like, you've tried to kill me before. Why would I go back with you, you crazy bastard? Let's give it some good shadow. And yeah, she did request a more flared hood for this. Your eyes aren't deceiving you. Pardon me. one, she wanted it to be slightly different than the retail one they sell. Uh, but two, it gave her a place to hide more ordnance, throwing spikes, shuriken, what have you. And she actually had a little pouch back in there where she could hide additional, like even a small gun if she needed to. This tassel is green. Now, her sword. It's kind of spoilers, but she eventually names her sword the Eat King. Now, what is an Eat King? I've referenced that several times if you've been watching through my Suno account. What the hell is that? Well, do you know what a Rat King is? Okay, I'm going to assume that you don't. So, for those who don't know what that is, basically you put a bunch of male rats in a pit and let them all kill each other. You take the survivor of, let's say you've done this 5 or 6 times simultaneously. Take the survivor from each pit and put them in a pit. And then you're going to have a lone survivor. And then you take those lone survivors and you put them in a pit. And what you get is a massive, carnivorous, cannibalistic rat that only sees other rats as a food source, not as any type of reproductive mate and whatsoever. Yeah, I kind of retconned her sword. It's more of a razor sword, so I'm gonna have to change that real quick. But in Eep King, you do the same thing. You take male Eeps who naturally they have harems. They don't like the presence of other males, and they will, like samurai fighting fish, pretty much kill each other on sight. You put them in a pit and do this simultaneously with like 5 or 6 others, and then take the winners from those pits and put them against each other. I didn't realize how offset this was. It looked good before. Sorry, I can fix it. It's the whole point of this. Just going back, cleaning it up, fixing, making it look more like the newer ones. And again, these were truly hand-drawn by me when in a blank graphic novel / comic book, which I didn't know you could buy those. If I'd known you could buy those, I would have been filling them with my story a long time ago. Now, an Eep King has almost no feathers except for a tuft of feathers on top of the head, similar to King Alan's Enoch throne. And of course it is purple feathers, so it's analogous to like a crown, or a metaphor for a crown, I should say. And eventually you know that they're ready when you throw a female in the pit and they just kill it. They don't try to mate with it at all. Based. But, yeah. They also do not see Panjians as a food source anymore. They only go after Eeps. Core always thought that was an interesting analogy for like becoming a ranger enforcer, is that you have to go through all of this to become something lethal, to then go into the woods and tear apart the monsters. other words, you have to become a monster to hunt the monsters. Sort of an inverse of the Nietzschean quote of beware those who hunt for monsters lest you become one. So that's why she named her sword Eat King. And she also puts a big amethyst in the pommel. Now, even with that, her riding jacket is very trock, her boots very trock. Everything from a distance screams, I am a rich noble woman in trock culture. But her riding partner, of course, area. Quite a delay on that. Maybe because of recording as well. She had the same problem as Fearsome Cockerel, is that Vitma looks so very tech. There's no getting around that. But what she would do is she would carry her guns in a big roll that looked like a carpet roll. So she looked like a drapes or carpet saleswoman. And tech salesmen and women of the time were not unheard of. Little soul dots. If you ever see a character that I make that don't have like these soul dots, a twinkle in the eye, as it were, those characters are dead inside. They have stopped giving a shit. You'll also notice that Enacs have them, but Eeps don't, because Eeps don't fucking care. And she's got God. What is that character who is the sort of like doorman for Jabba the Hutt? What the hell is his name? I have to Google that. But he had the weird like appendage coming on the back of his head. That's what Korra is giving off vibes of. I don't like that. Let's make this way more, yeah, like that. Like I said, this is a custom flared hood that she requested for Gourd Outfitters, so that hers would be different. She also took a lesson from Daddy Veto, and under this underlap here is basically what is a yield plate carrier, and it's got Kodopan backed by steel, and she has little pauldrons here too for basically stealthy bullet resistance. Of course, Veto reveals the reason he always wears that big coat, even though it's obviously got a sword slash in the top, and he's obviously rich enough to replace it, is that that's his work outfit. Because underneath, well, we've already seen that he has a through and through pocket, which is sort of an homage to Angel Eyes from Good and the Bad and the Ugly. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Because if you remember at the beginning of the movie, he has a through pocket in his duster, hiding the fact that he's already got his damn pistol out. And of course, if you draw on him, he already has a split-second advantage because of that. There we go. There's Korra. And I sort of did that as an homage. Bright green letters, because I'm gonna have like a dark sky up here. I say it's maybe because of all the programs I'm running at once. But Paint 3D normally doesn't have this big a delay for the fill. Like I said, Revenge of Forsaken was not originally my idea. It was actually sort of like a challenge coin from Mama. If you're not familiar with challenge coin, the military gives them out. And it's basically, I want to see improvement in like this specific area. Make it happen. So in other words, I'm challenging you to do something specifically better. Or to attain a certain rank in a certain time. or things of that nature. In other words, I know you can do this. Show me. And she said, and I asked her, like, what do you want? Oh, I would love to have like a period piece that's kind of romantic, like the romance novels that she very much enjoys, the historical romance novels. And I'm like, I can do romance, but that's not going to be the main storyline because it just does not interest me at all. Sorry. And she's like, okay, I could have a side story of a romance, but not so grimdark, a little less Warhammer 40k and a little more like D&D, basically. And I'm like, okay, I can do that. And so I was thinking about what period in my book series would be in that, like pre-industrial yet late Renaissance. Guns are a thing, but swords are still pretty much dominant. And I thought about this period of time just after the war with the Norks, when everyone's kind of broke, and so everyone's more likely to do something a little shady. And when people do something shady, people tend to remember it for a very long time if it gets pointed out or made an example of. So I thought, okay, I want to do like German fairy tale. Like, it's cute and wholesome up to a point, and then it's like, holy shit, we have cannibalistic witches. And I'm like, I hate when it does that. Stop destroying my outline. There we go. And I thought, I'm really good at mashing things up. What if, instead of Hansel and Gretel, we start out that way? Children lost in the woods, purposely abandoned by their parents. I love how in Hansel and Gretel, it's always the fucking mother-in-law. It's like... But, I wanted to do something that is a little more like in line with my universe, not necessarily grimdark, but definitely a little twisted. And I'm like, the movie The Professional, have you ever seen that? It is about an assassin who assassinates a little girl's parents right in front of her, and then he sort of like awkwardly like takes her under her wing to like learn his profession, so that she has like some type of childhood and skill that's marketable, essentially. And she's always carrying that potted plant around. It's a great movie. Of course, it ends kind of predictably, is that her first contract is to kill him, the man who mentored and raised her. And I'm like, I never liked that ending, because one, it's too predictable, and also that character of, I believe his name was Leon, fucking super respectable. Like, even though he's an assassin, like, that sense of honor he had of like, yeah, come with me, kid. I will teach you the ways of assassination. Or you can stay here and go into a foster home and possibly get abused. I don't know, I may be like seriously misremembering the plot of the movie, but I always found it to be very interesting and a little sweet, and despite how kind of grimdark it is. And then I'm like, whoa. What if Hansel gets his fat ass eaten, Gretel escapes, and she meets up with the professional, and then he's like, I will teach you the ways of assassination, so one day you could use them on your father. And then I'm like, there we go, that's my storyline. So then I just sort of worked from that premise. I'm like, okay, the texts have several people or organizations that do assassination. One is just straight up the Ranger Corps, Army Rangers. They will you know, infiltrate and kill someone for the Triarchy, but they usually have to be deployed during war. So then I was like, well, what about the Ranger Enforcers, who are at that time in canon just kind of bounty hunters? And I'm like, perfect. Let's step up their grimdark a little and say they're fucking headhunters. They're not there to bring you back alive. And then I remembered the only pack animal in this universe is an Enac. Only one person could reasonably ride Enac. Think about it. There's not enough back space. A horse has a back and a front. There's enough room to tandem rod. Can't do that with an Enac. So everything just sort of like Kismet Tetris just fell into place with this. The storyline, the time it took place, how it sort of perfectly encapsulates this period of time between late Gawain II's reign and his son Val's coronation and reign, and how this character, Cora Henchild, was friends with both of them and technically rode for both of them. Although I'm not going to get into spoilers on that. And yes, there is, I mentioned briefly, there is a timeline that was collapsed in 8th Fleet, where Gawain II dies by the hand of a wraith of the Ranger Torga, who he threw under the bus and blamed for all of the deaths of retaking Fort Cap. But that timeline is collapsed, so it's no longer canon. However, the Ranger Torga is now Doc's bitch monkey and basically metaphysical enforcer. So he kind of screwed himself by picking on the wrong person. But so this is not that timeline. This would be like sort of the quote-unquote good timeline, where basically Gawain II just bit the bullet and took the blame, like a good king should. Alright, let's do, let's see, I think this wants to be at night. So it needs to be really, really dark. Everything needs to be dark. You're gonna do the whole fucking page, aren't you? Yeah, you are, bastard. I really wish I could, like, train it to do better. Because I could just come back in here and do zoop that. So this would not be at sunset. This would be like after they've already decided that, you know, they've been abandoned and again, really? How are you escaping? I see. Okay, that looks good. Let's try there. Fucking for real. Okay. It's like, I really don't want to go in there, like, with pen. I want a general fill and then shadow. There we go. What? Okay, what the fuck? Like, if there's 2 pixels that will get inside of a line it will fill that, and that really annoys me. I have been fighting with goddamn autofill for almost as long as I've been drawing on MS Paint. Like, it just does not get the fucking assignment, like, ever. Hello, OBS. That's not what it... It's not what I wanted. Alright. Come on. Of course. Like, how... I see how it keeps escaping. Because I'm a dumbass. Where are you bleeding through at? I don't understand. Well, I guess... Yeah, I don't like that. See if I can block it in with this. So I don't know where it's bleeding through at, and that really fucking annoys me. If we, yeah. Block these guys off. See, I can go back and have them sort of disappear into the darkness at the top, give it some a real feel of darkness. So I say I really want to use autofill for that part down there, and I really. Sorry if I was jiggling the camera, but it's all connected, unfortunately. Right. Let's try the reverse. Yeah, that worked. Come on. Yeah, that worked. Nope. Where are you bleeding through at? like I said, if there are 2 pixels that can bridge it, you'll take it. Right there. See it? Dirty bastards. There we go. Come on. Yeah. Over here? No. No. You're not sealed off yet. Okay. So like I was saying, a lot of Army veterans had a hard time after this because they really didn't have any real skills. Oh, going back to the genesis of this. So I sort of very softly retconned the Ranger Corps into being different disciplines. There are artillery rangers, there are... Should know better. I'll come back to the guy. There are traditional army rangers, who are just sort of just well-rounded, and then ranger enforcers are sort of the long left hand of the triarchy, as they describe themselves. They are the true assassins. Like when they say find them and kill them, these are the guys who find you and kill you. And I also had a bit of a problem later on with the Black Terror era against the Baylor Alliance, the alliance that the Norks and the Phasians would form against the Techs and the Trox. Originally, I just said that it was just undercover Army Rangers performing the acts of sabotage and terror to sort of suppress the Baylor Alliance. And I was like, no. That's Ranger Enforcer purview right there, because they're already trained to hunt down people and kill them. Just add a little espionage and say skillet, disguise, and camouflage, and there you go. You have tech ninjas, essentially. And I really like the idea. Okay, this can be all fill. So we have midnight blue. There we go. Now, let's go with black, but black in the blue spectrum. Yeah. I think I set that alarm a long time ago to remind me to do this. And I need to just turn it off. Alright, yeah, super like midnight black. No. Super dark green, because it's gonna be the canopy. So like even darker. Maybe actually no, a little bit lighter. And then I'll go back. And yeah, and then I'll carve out the parts that are supposed to be the distant sky. But all of this is canopy, and it feels more closed and boxed in. Now, originally, I was going to have the main characters be a brother and sister combo. So that originally Vaughn would have survived. And they would have worked together to hunt down their father. But I thought to myself, like, surviving an Eve attack is, like, statistically, like, way down there. Like, one of these kids is gonna die. So then it was the choice of, okay, which character that doesn't really exist but is only in headcanon right now, which one of them do I have to sacrifice? Which one of them is dead? And I'm like, we always expect the little boy to survive, but he is younger, so he is less experienced. Whereas the older sister, Cora, she would face more discrimination from every angle because she is a trot girl, but also that would give an excuse for why, if she made it to a main road, no one would want to pick her up. Is that, again, they would be picking her up pretty much to use her as an indentured servant, and you're not going to get a lot of labor out of a little girl versus a little boy, unfortunately. So they too would be using the Mr. Henchild math, what's in it for me versus what I have to put up with. And again, you also got to remember that a lot of Trox at this time had a lot of kids. So it wasn't like, right now where, like, in real life the birth rate's spiraling down, and in future there will literally be probably a market for buying children, as fucked up as that sounds. But that's what happens. It's like, if people are not having their own kids, but they want kids and they have money, well, they can make that happen one way or another. So don't be shocked if you read your news feed in the morning and see that there's a big bust of child trafficking rings increasing each year, and not even for the particularly disgusting and normal reason, literally just to sell them so that people could just buy children. Alright, let's try to fill this in again. But I want it a little bit lighter. I want it like a little streak. Yeah, ever so slightly. Ah, that's what I'm looking for. Right there. Yes. And then I can fill in. Yeah. And then this I can just continue on until it goes into shadow and nothing. Alright. Let me fill it in. Yeah. The bushes, I definitely want them to be a brighter green. Yeah. Give it some contrast. Hello. There we go. Like I said, a lot of delay tonight. I think it's because I've got multiple programs going. A little bit lighter on this side. Yeah. Looks like two different bushes. And it's like, I color penciled this cover and a few pages in after the fact, and it was just beautiful because it was the sun setting and I was able to get long shadows on the kids. But there's something about being alone in the woods at night that's just automatically unsettling. And so I think making this a night, or like almost like just past Twilight's incident, makes it a lot more engaging. You know, it makes you a lot more fearful to these kids, even though you've not even opened the book and don't even know their names yet. There's something visceral about that. I was like, oh, there's children alone in the woods, but it's also nighttime. There's something like primordial in your soul is like, we need to get these kids out of here. Freaks come out at night. There we go. Alright, go back and clean it up later. Again, sorry I'm checking the camera. Like I say, it's all connected. I can't really do anything about that. There's a lot of stroking in this. Ha ha. Oh, there was a little hedgerow that got disappeared into the. Let's give it some highlights so we know it's there. There we go. Yeah. Hello, Bush. We missed you. Alright. We're gonna save the flowers and the eats the children for last. I want to get these trees and this background filled in. So you know what would be helpful? Is if I had... Yeah. Yeah, just constantly running, like, over here or somewhere. Right there. Actually, it would hide behind my... Yeah, if I put it right there. So, y'all don't need to see that. I just want to know how long I've been streaming. And it's just a little clock going, a little stop clock. It's telling me how long I've been going. So, like I was saying, the original concept grew from like the basic idea of jamming together Hansel and Gretel and The Professional, which I will stand by. I think that's a fucking great mix. That's gonna make a. I would watch that movie. Or like Hansel and Gretel, but they one of them survives and gets adopted by like Van Helsing. They become vampire hunters. I'd watch the fuck out of that movie too. That one seems like it'd be a little more schlocky though, but that's right up my alley. Again, we're just having these limbs just sort of disappear. I don't necessarily care about the title. I'll go back and clean it up. I just want to get the limbs to cooperate. Of course, when I was just inking it the first time, there was really no way to draw the background first and then overlay a title like that. So I had to stop them all as stumps down here. But originally they were supposed to go like all the way up because they're giant trees. So of course they go further up. Now, I finished the Duel of the Kings the other night, Saturday night, sorry. But I accidentally doxed someone's phone number. It only shows up for like a half second, which is the most infuriating part. For some dumbass reason, I opened my messages for Microsoft online. Basically, it sort of clones your phone's messaging app and allows you to text through your PC. And a work friend's phone number got on screen for like half a second. And so I'm not going to be able to post that until I can get some video software to literally cut out or blur that 1 second. So I did, like I say, finish it. I did the dick move of what I said in this, wanting to finish it before, so I'm not going to do it off screen so that y'all guys can't see the process. And I end up doing that anyway because doxing. So, like I said, it's not the full phone number, but if you have this person's name and a partial phone number, nowadays they can pretty much get your damn blood type with that shit. It's like there's no damn privacy anymore. So it's just better safe than sorry. Oh yeah, that looks great. But you can see, dealing with a one layer non-digital with just ink on paper, I couldn't have put this over the woods in the background. It would just have to be implied. But this looks way better. I like this. Yeah, just bring it on up. Like I said, we can go in replace that. Clean it up later. Alright, these flowers, in the daytime they're sort of an orangey yellow, but at night we're gonna have to like darken them. So let's go, yeah, like that. Yeah, it looks great. Should make some of those actually. Like, I wish you could take the current color and like lighten or darken it, so you don't have to like go in there and like make a damn custom color every single time. Be nice. Or like you have opacity here, you can go back and set shading. That would be great. Clean it down here, definitely. Pretty much just cleaning up artifacting. Now, the Eeps. They have a dark green skin. Yeah. Now, the males have black feathers with sort of like magenta or pinkish purple tips on the feathers, and anecdotally, the older they are, the darker those feathers get. And finding an Eep that's an alpha with like triarchal purple, like a dark purple feather highlights, is a massive boon. Triarchs, that's why Gavin II would always go hunting, is he really wanted to find a damn alpha Eep that had those dark purple feathers, so he can make like, you know, a coat out of it or something as sort of like a power flex. You know, it's like, oh, look at this thing I killed. But of course, for whatever reason, he sucked at hunting. He just never good at it. And their feathers were slightly lighter green. So more like this. And as you can see, they would blend into their environment very, very well, especially at night. And if not for the fact they had a coordination sound, which is eep, which I can't get high enough to register. You would have no warning at all. Now, the hens, which did most of the hunting, similar to a lion prod, they had black tips on their green feathers, which made them even harder to spot. Because again, they are the ones who do most of the hunting. Just giving it, I'm not trying to give it a soul dot, I'm trying to give it like some reflector in the eyes. It's another thing that the only warning you get. There we go. Is their eyes, like cats, have reflective elements in the back of them. And that's a lot of times either that or their warning sound, or their coordination sound, I should say, are the only warning you get. Black tip feathers. And again, you're more likely to be attacked by the females than the male. The male likes to linger back, and normally they don't attack unless they feel like they're personally threatened. They tend to do more coordination and observation. Again. Yeah. Those purple eyes coming at you, staring at you out of the dark. And again, Panjians do have this eye color. It's referred to as being eep-eyed. Just like Korra having yellow eyes is referred to as being hawk-eyed. Like that. Let's give her a little more definition there. Sometimes I forget the eye whites, and I don't want the impression like they have like button-like eyes. Their eyes are like ours, and they just have whites. It's just as my drawing style is a little cartoonish like that, to make the characters a little more expressive. There we go. Now, her eyes do have a little bit of a dark ring around them, and it's more of a copper than like a bright yellow. But again, that's really mimicking Trakazians. It's not really a natural Panjian color. Oh, it's looking good. It's looking real good. You just need to get some dark hollow going on back there. Maybe even shadows of other trees in the distance. Alright, let's go top down and just fix this. Let's make it a 4, yeah. Not anywhere near big enough. They say these drawing tablets absolutely necessary if you are old school drawing. Like I said, back in the day, all I had was a mouse, and I could do some pretty good like pixel art. Like I would say like video game cut screen, Sega Genesis era, like good. And that was just with a mouse. Imagine if I had this crap all the way going back to like the 90s. Of course, a screen like this to draw on would be, you know, as much as a fucking car back then. You'd have to get like an old school like Pixar computer to run it. So I think we can get away with the brown on black. It's just that shade of green changing makes it look like it's foreground, not background. See what I'm saying? Like even up close. Still don't like that artifacting around there. We have to come back with a thicker line and just sort of bulldoze over that. Reestablish the line, essentially. I actually am looking forward to the truth one, which is next, with the humble sort of lawn darted into the ground, surrounded by forests and vines. That's going to look fucking amazing colorized. Like I said, somewhere I have color penciled a colored version of this that is more like sunset rather than early evening like this. But like I said, there's something very visceral about being alone in the woods at night. You don't feel safe. And then to see like two children and two little weird fluffy velociraptors like staring at them. It's very foreboding. That's exactly the feeling I wanted the reader to have when they look at this cover. It's like, oh my god, what's going to happen to these children? It's like bad things, very bad things. And it's called character building, unfortunately. Well, not Vaughn, it's more like MacGuffin. There is some modern lore. There are now two Henchals. There are the Eastern Henchals, which are descendants of Korra in modern day. And then there are the Western Henchilds, who are descendants of Mr. Henchild's older sons, one of which quit the farm and moved to be a merchant in Tetrick. And he briefly makes an appearance at the end during Korra's trial. Spoilers. And basically said that he thought it was a bad dream, but he heard Mr. Henchild and Korra's mother discussing culling the herd, as it were. Getting rid of the least productive children. And that basically over the course of an hour of arguing, Mr. Henchild just sort of ground Korra's mom down to like, look, we can have more kids, basically. It's like, we're in dire straits. Would you prefer to sell them, or would you prefer to just let them starve to death and just see what happens? And so she's like, I guess it's better to be, you know, quickly killed by apes relatively than starved to death. But the Eastern Henchilds to this day have a massive grudge against the Western Henchilds, because the other members of the family knew there's no way in this little foreign house the other members of the family did not know what was going to happen to Korra and Vaughn, and they did and said nothing, which makes them complicit as far as the Eastern Henchilds are concerned. So they view the other half of their family as a bunch of criminals, basically. They later on got into the real estate business, and almost as sort of like burying their sins, they sold the family farm to a real estate investor who then put a fucking strip mall there. So where Korra's family cabin used to be, is in the middle of a fucking parking lot in the province of Enac Town, which is a small little town in between the Western Woods and Tetrick. And it's at the corner of Old Post, which is the street that Korra finally remembered the name of, that was the road that led to her family farm, because it was kind of on a dead-end road. And for most of her life, she couldn't remember the name of the damn road. And it bugged her. And of course, Veto kept gaslighting her and saying, don't worry about it, I went to the farm, there's no one there. But here's the thing. Korra suspected he was lying, because if he went there, he would know the name of the road. Like, presumably. And then again, Veto's so good at tracking, he could find you if you're in a place that has no fucking address, which he often did, as you saw with his introduction. Literally a small cabin in the middle of nowhere. He found you. He fucking found you. Just like a Georgia bloodhound. Alright, that looks pretty good. I still don't like the artifacting around it. Random little pops of white. Still, overall, looks very good. This is pretty much where I envisioned the color version to be. I guess we could, like... Yeah. Just to give it a little more pop. And clearly CSA for 18+ readers. really and truly, if you were to give Revenge Forsaken like a true like movie rating, it would probably be PG-13. That'd be more of an 80s PG-13. They might ramp it up because of the nature of the occupation of being a ranger enforcer. A lot of beheading going on. But even I try to keep it like slightly off screen or off panel. Unless it's a person who is obviously stated they're about to do something really bad, like the Night of Banditry, where he literally is marching in town with his bejeweled codpiece saying he's going to violate all the women. Like, yeah, no, you die. You die right now. Do not pass go, do not collect $200. Alright. You know, definitely need to clean this up. So it cleans up very nicely. I do appreciate that. It's like it could be super difficult and give me a hard time and say it's not. Come back and redo those details later. Like, this sounds very similar to another copyright-free song. I was just thinking about that. I think I've heard this before, or maybe it's Suno like copying its own lunch, but copying its own test results. Uh, I think there is another like copyright-free song that is disturbingly similar to this, but you saw me live like generate it. I mean, it is from Suno, so sue them, not me. Then again, that song probably was from Suno in the first place, more than likely. There's a lot of AI slop going around. I enjoy it because it allows people who previously weren't able to be creative in that way now have an outlet. But everyone now has an outlet, so it's like, I get why the music industry was so heavily curated for a long time. You just want to keep the damn random bullshit out, but at the same time, they would kick out people who had a lot of potential. So, I don't know. I don't miss it. I'd rather have a mountain of slop than like one or two like curated like artists who are meant to be famous because they were groomed and picked to be so. And it's at least with the slop, if you have, you know, an algorithm that is meritocratic and actually, you know, does its job, the cream will rise to the top, the rest will be forgotten. It's kind of how it's supposed to be. sort of digital Darwinism. The problem is that a lot of sites like to curate as well. So they basically just put themselves in the same position as the old record labels. It's like, we tell you what's popular. It's like, no, some things actually are popular organically. And then there's the crap you shove down our throat. A little less of that, please. Alright. So, I miss woods that were truly wild. There's a lot of like parks in Tennessee that are getting to be like England. They're very manicured. You don't feel like you're actually in the woods anymore. And so I think as time goes on, we're going to miss true wilderness. It's like, yeah, it's safe and all for the kids to have, you know, every national park be like a public park, and that it's super safe. And okay, don't even know where I was. But like I said, I just always remember Grandpa always said, like, whenever you would point out he missed his spot, like a big square on the lawn, he always would refuse to mow the entire lawn. He said, you gotta leave something for the fairy folk. I always thought that was very whimsical. But it's like, as time goes on, it's like, I get it. You don't want it to be entirely something artificial looking and manicured. You won't, like you said, leave something for the fairy folk, leave something for the imagination, leave something for nature. And at this time, the Western Woods was just a great expanse of just nothing but trees. Yeah, there were lumberjacks. There were lumberjack operations for sure. But nowadays, with as fast as vehicles go, like, if you blink, you'll miss the Western Woods. It's just like a little green patch between Tetrick and Ulysses. And then, of course, Ulysses and Tetrick have been growing, and they've been growing towards each other because that's more financially stable. I think I'm misaligned here. There we go. And so over time, like, even the ability to get lost in the Western Woods has gone down. Like, nowadays, if you want to like actually hunt Eep, you need to go to old Eeperton because of the natural disaster that happened there. And shortly after the ending of the story, there was a tornado, and Eperton was a commercial farming of eeps. So they had eep cages to grow them, and then they would bury their eggs, and then you would cull them for their meat and feathers, and then dig up their eggs and sell their eggs. And then you would keep a few eggs, hatch them. You would save a brood mother to brood them from the previous batch. Usually the one that was most catchable and least likely to bite your damn fingers off. And the thing with eeps is, no matter how long you cage them like that, they never become tame. They're always wild. And one night came a terrible storm. It was just supposed to be a thunderstorm, but it ended up turning into a small tornado. And the eep pens got blown away, but so did the eeps. So they figure, oh shit, well that's a massive loss. But see, they forgot that eeps have hollow bones, just like a bird, because they're technically a raptor. And a lot of them just sort of landed on their feet like a damn cat. And then people in Eperton started disappearing, and they started finding pieces of them, and they realized what happened. The eep pens were not a total loss. What happened is a tornado just sort of scattered hundreds and hundreds of adult eeps in the night, and now they're hungry and they're pissed off, they're disoriented, some of them are injured, which an injured eep will just lash out regardless. And so Eperton had to do a quickie evacuation because now the eeps own that town. It's a town of, say, roughly 15,000 people, a sizable town. It was a big commercial business raising these eeps to cull them for their meat and get their eggs. But for whatever reason, a freak storm hit them and turned into a tornado, and that was that. That's about the only place you can go nowadays and find wilderness like this that are very much the eep's domain. Like, you're trespassing if you go there. But getting to Eperton, the old service road is long since crumbled into chunks of concrete and asphalt because of lack of maintenance. Because why maintenance a road that goes to a town that is dead and also full of, man-eating velociraptors? So there was just no incentive to try to retake Eperton. It's too full of eeps. And by the time you cull all of them and start over again, you would have spent so much money up front, it wouldn't be profitable for decades. Pardon me. So Eperton is just sort of like the tower of, Centralia, that is constantly on fire, the one that Silent Hill is based on. And unlike in Centralia, no one actually lives there because the eeps will just murder you. But you can see it on flybys. You can fly over it. You see little houses and barns and all sorts of equipment that was just left there because it's too dangerous to go there on foot. And the reason I mentioned Eperton is because, one, it is like thinking of places modern day that you could find forests like this. But in Get Good, they will be retaking Eperton. So it's going to be basically in Get Good, as active Navy, they have a rotationary fleet because they don't want their guys to get burned out. Voodoo Squadron, which is our titular gamers turned drone pilots, and get good. Uh, they're part of 8th Fleet, which is the flagship fleet, because that's the one the Humble is the center of. And of course, by this time they have converted the Humble into a super carrier for starfighters. But the Drawfee really want to get their hands on it, because even though it's a 2,000-year-old starship, it's still more advanced than anything they have. They would love to dissect it and see how it works. Especially because the fact it seems to take anything as fuel. Its fusion reactor is literally like Doc Brown's, like Mr. Fusion. You just throw a beer can and a banana peel in it and it fucking goes. Just being hyperbolic, obviously, but you get what I'm saying. It doesn't need like helium-3 or some exotic form of fucking cesium or some bullshit like that. It literally will just run on pretty much any noble gas and produce power continuously for a long time. So, the Drawfee would very much like to figure out how that works. But of course, no touchy, that's ours. Now, what's interesting is right now drone warfare in real life seems to be the new catalyst / paradigm shift. Before it was heavy mechanized warfare in World War II. It was shock and awe tactics in Vietnam, asymmetrical warfare for most of the 20th century. But it's looking like drones are going to be the new, what's hot, basically. Now, in the Panjian universe, drones were hot for a little bit, but then the Drawfee developed an AI-assisted jamming program that could just figure out that that's an active drone signal, locate it, disable it, or worse yet, hijack it. So drones stopped being hot and started being sort of a dead idea. Sort of like aircraft carriers, which feature heavily in my book series, and I personally think they were never fully allowed to be their own thing. And I think they could have worked in tangent with ocean aircraft carriers and like tripled the speed and response time, because getting a carrier group someplace takes months. An airship, if it's particularly fast, could get there in like a couple of days. Like, it's not jet fast, but it's pretty damn fast. And if it could carry, say, 10 strike fighters on top of that, fully fueled, ready to go, it's like you win. Now, of course, there's all sorts of problems with large Zeppelin-like ships like that. One is they show up on radar really, really well, because they just present a good broadside for that signal to bounce off of. That could be fixed with modern plastics, but you couldn't really like use stealth paint on it. It would add too much weight. Then again, if it's bristling with anti-air defenses itself, if you try to shoot it down with a SAM, it could literally just knock it down with like, high volume machine gun fire, or just put out decoys that are like really good, because it has the room to carry bigger, better decoys. It wouldn't just be a flare. It could actually be a drone. It's like an old-timey drone that's just electromechanically controlled. But yeah, so drones stopped being a thing, and then this random Panjian Security Agency scientist had been working on Project Voodoo, which was actually a communications device that uses essentially, for lack of better terminology, telepathy, but electromagnetically created telepathy. So basically, it translates electromagnetic spectrum things into telepathic waves, which the Drophy, one, don't believe in, and two, have no means of intercepting or jamming. Oh, and it has seemingly infinite range. So, drones are now back on the menu, boys. And at first, the Drophy think that these are some sort of new AI controlled starfighters that just seem to have really good reaction time, but also will strangely talk shit over the comms like they're a person. And then they very quickly figured out, wait a minute, no, these are controlled by people, they're drones. And then the great hunt began to figure out how the hell they're doing this, because they never seem to have any signals that they can find that would be actively controlling them. They also seem to have a ridiculously long range. So, as you can see, the Drophy were very perplexed by that for a very long time. And even when they captured a voodoo box, as they call it, that the transponder that translates EM into psychic energy or telepathic waves, they didn't know what they had. They thought it was just random equipment. And they didn't understand why it was marked as highly classified. It's like, this looks like a piece of random radio equipment. And of course, the Drophy religion, as I've went over previously in other streams, uh, forbids the belief in psychic powers. They believe that God made all men equal, and therefore people who have psychic abilities would violate that ethos and prove it wrong, and God can't be wrong, therefore you must be wrong. Yet another example of their religion completely cucking them, essentially. Their religion is also why they don't wear body armor individually. They can be in an armored vehicle, but they can't be wearing like a power armor suit. It's literally against their religion. And I may continue on with this that's outside of you know uh, showing you guys as I go, because this will take a long time. It is 3 volumes, and I want to keep going with the rest of PGH. It's just there's a little bit of a stop over here and a crossover here with Revenge of the Forsaken. So I'm like, hey, I'm gonna spend a little time colorizing that. Alright, I'm gonna save these guys for last. But I do want to go ahead and clean them up while I go on the screen here. Alright, that looks good. Oh yeah, that's coming together. Now. Give it like the illusion of some trees. Yeah, that's great. So I like to use the airbrush tool for shading. I know this is probably some sort of improper technique, but I like it. It's quick and it gets the point across. Hello, OBS. I think I need to recalibrate my pen. That's the problem. It's not landing where I want it to. Zoom out here. Oh yeah. Of course, the ones in the background, they can be a little fuzzy. That's fine. Zoom out there. Give it some verticality so it looks like tree trunks. Yeah. Yeah, looks great. Now, so definitely has some trees back. Now, Cora's dress should be that color in this shade. It's filled. Fill tool is our friend. Actually isn't. Whatever. So, sorry I've been quiet this whole time. But, like I said, the Eastern Henshaws and the Western Henshaws do not get along. They literally consider each other to be murderers. Western Henshaws say that Courage basically showed up and murdered their dad. Unprovoked. No death warrant. And then the Henshaws were like, yeah, this guy was technically an outlaw. It's just that, the Sheriff's Department of Tetrick did not take it seriously because there was no named individual, and because basically Cora was alright. They figure, oh, no harm, no foul, basically. Like, completely just erasing the fact that Vaughn was fucking torn apart by apes. But then again, the Tetrick Sheriff's Department is not exactly was ever known for being competent. I would say the difference in law enforcement would be the techs uphold the law, whereas the Trox keep the peace. There is a very subtle difference between those two. Keeping the peace would mean that if there is someone with a protest sign that everyone doesn't like, the cops would escort that person away to quell the angry mob that's forming around him. That's keeping the peace. That's not upholding the law. The law says you have the right to express yourself so long as you're not hurting anyone. It doesn't matter if this angry crowd has taken offense to what your little billboard says. You have the right to stand there and hold it. That's upholding law. And that is a big distinction that I think a lot of police in our world need to learn and need to realize the reason you are paid with taxpayer dollars is to uphold the law, not to keep the peace. Keeping the peace is lazy, and it results in individuals' rights being shit on. Just like that example. Uphold the law. If that means you have to face an angry mob of 50 people, fucking do it. Because that's the right thing to do. Like I said, there's a whole lot of it's not my job going around lately. I actually want to keep some of this artifacting on her dress because it makes it look dirty. And that's actually what I'm going for. I am liking this clock that's hidden by the picture-in-picture over here, because I can look over and like how long have I been streaming? Oh yeah, not streaming, but recording. Beautiful. And in case some readers were wondering, yes, her dress is made of burlap. It's like a potato sack. It is. It is very, very poor. Not at all like the tailored suits that techs wear. Artifact. But like I said, getting back to the Eastern and Western Hinchals, whenever the uh, Western Hinchals will hold a family reunion, they do not invite the Eastern, and the Eastern will show up and protest badges out if they're Ranger Enforcers on ENAC, and basically just dagger eye the fucking crowd and then leave to make their point. It's like, yeah, you forgot to invite someone? Not that we would have shown up, and if we did, we probably would have fucking stuck it to you. Like, it would not have been pleasant conversation. But because they're always just on the edge of the property, but still visible, there's nothing legally they can do about it. It's not technically stalking, because it only happens, say, once every Hazayan year. But one time they did dare to invite the Western Hinchilds. And it was the youngest daughter of the lineage of the oldest brother. And she hand-delivered it to Enforcer Manor. And the person who answered the door she didn't recognize was her cousin Brownie, which is actually one of the instructors at the Martial Academy now, and he is Cora's older brother. And whenever a Hinchild joins the Martial Academy, they are given the moniker and nickname of Brownie. And yes, that is slightly racist, but like I say, it's tradition, and I won't get into why it's tradition because that would be skipping ahead of in PGH, and I don't want to do that right now. So. See a lot of artifact. But they did in fact show up. Now, at first, they were told to get off the property, and because they didn't realize this little girl had invited them. And they whip out the invitation, and they're like, "Oh shit." Now, when this happened, they brought some friends with them to sort of mediate. They brought Admiral Brennick and his grandson Doc, basically to be referee, because they knew this was going to result in some serious bullshit. And for like the first 10 minutes, it was rather cordial, but then it got onto the topic of Ranger enforcement in general, and it's like the whole crowd just sort of sat over against them. It's like, nah. But it's baby steps, so making progress. There have been several times in the past where they had tried to like mend the divide, and usually it ends up with both of them accusing each other of being murderers. So it just doesn't go well. We've got to fix that base. Okay. But yeah, it's like, how do you mend a divide like that when each half of the family accuses the other of being murderers? It's like, it's not going to go down well. Definitely need to fix his feathers. He looks terrified, as he should be. It's an appropriate face to make when you're alone in the fucking woods. And you're pretty sure your sister has no idea where she's actually going. That looks fucking great. Alright, good job everybody. Although I did most of the work myself. Let's give it a little more texture. Yeah. Can you even see that? Not. There we go. That way it looks like grass, not just... That looks great. Still got some artifact around those bushes though, but it's so slight you can't really tell. Yeah. Kinda want to combine an S. Yeah, I like it. Definitely want to save as image. Nope, that is not where that belongs. Second one, memory size, color. There we go. So it will have the black and white and the color, and then the color ones, or the black and white, I'll just expedite somewhere else. Yeah, it looks great. Or just rewrite it. Okay. Ooh. This helps to have a map. Now, you have to remember, this map isn't very wide. I don't have like a a measure down here, but technically you saw these are very close to each other. It's just the Western Woods historically was sort of the deviation point of this border. And that shows how far basically she walked. So we're talking like, good 60 miles through woods. But anyway, I don't know if I want to colorize this right now. See how it takes to it. It's not bad. You can get away a lot more with pastels. course, definitely want to put some texture on those woods. Although I'm pretty sure it's still evident, like, where they begin and end. Alright, yeah. That looks great. I'm okay with that. And if you want to colorize those flags, it's so you can, tell the difference. Because if they're black and white, you wouldn't be able to tell. All right, so it is keeping these within the folder I wanted to stay in. And of course, this is a bunch of exposition. It's like, first and foremost, 'twas harsh times on Hosea, pronounced Hosea. War and famine had destroyed many lives. Truck farmers along the western woods were hit with the hardest. Many were forced to sell their farms because and become traveling merchants. Sorry, English.exe just crashed. Others took to the despised and illegal result of abandoning their youngest and least productive children in the western woods. They are a combination of exposure, starvation, and heap attacks would quickly kill them. If discovered, their deaths could easily be dismissed as accidental. The farmers who did this believed that this sacrifice could allow them to financially recover and save their ancestral farms from bankruptcy and foreclosure. This is the autobiography of Cora Hitchell I. She was one of these children. That's a hell of a setup, isn't it? And this is explaining that this is sort of an apocryphal, fictional side story within PGH and 8th Fleet universe. So yeah. So, save this and call it a night. And I like this version. I'm going to publish it. It's called Lament of the Heather. And if you want to use that, make checks payable to Division Leader Suno. But yeah, I think if you monetize it, it's like a 30-70 split with Suno. But because it's something I prompted, you probably wouldn't get crap for it other than attribution. Um, right, just in that. And yeah, we'll see you next Thursday.